Very good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us yet again for another Power Packed show from the Connect TV. We are glad that you could have joined us, and thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. And if you haven't subscribed, if you're not sharing our videos, please go subscribe and share our videos so that we can help people out there. So today we in this journey, we're trying to understand there's some choices and decisions that people make and have an impact in your life. So today we're going to look at one of the angles which we call career choice and progression. What are some of the decisions that you make which have a long time implication? Today we're joined by a lady. Yes, she's Kenyan, that's for a fact. And we're going to understand how did she get where she is and was it easy and what are the choices that she had to make to get to where she are. So today we're joined by a lady by the name Sharon. Sharon, karibu sana. Thank you for taking your time, Sharon, to just come in and hang out with us here at the Connect. We like getting to know people, getting to know their stories, and just to understand how did you get where you are. So today, Sharon, just maybe before we get into the gist of things, I just want you to introduce yourself. At least people can know you a little better, and then we can take it from there. Over to you, Sharon.
Thanks, Pete. It's so great to be here today and to share my story. And hopefully, it's going to impact someone in a positive way. And yes, so let's get started. My name is Sharon Maloba, Kenyan, fully Kenyan Damu. So basically, I am currently in Australia. I live in Sydney and I cleared my university in 2020. Oh my goodness, it's such a long time thinking about it right now. So I did a master's course in a master's of engineering in sustainable energy, and I'm currently in the workspace. And yes, we'll get to break down how I got to this space further on in this.
Sustainability. Anyway, I'm not gonna go there, but how did you end up going into engineering? And maybe before we get to the masters, maybe let's take it a little bit back because before you get to your masters, you do your undergrad. But before your undergrad, you go to high school. So how did you make that choice to do what you actually did in university, Sharon?
Okay. So basically, when I was at uni, to be honest, this isn't the course that I wanted to do when I was clearing Form 4. When I was clearing Form 4, I really wanted to do medicine. I think everyone who knows me knows that fact. I wanted to become a doctor. But I think at the very end, before I joined uni, I just realized that medicine was not my path. And at that particular time, well, my interests are in like geography, chemistry, and physics. So, and that's when oil had been discovered in Kenya around that time when I was finishing uni. So basically, first of all, I think at that time it was all about the money. I was just thinking about, hey, when I become an petroleum engineer, I'll be making the bucks and everything. But yes, to be honest, it was also an interest because it's still geography. I love geography. I love chemistry and physics. So that's where I got myself into my undergraduate degree, which I did oil, gas, and energy management. So yeah, I did my undergraduate in the UK at Coventry University, and that's what I studied for. And following from that, after I finished the oil, gas, and energy management course, I realized that I really don't want to focus on the oil and the gas side of things, but I want to go more into the renewable side. So that's when I decided that my master's is going to be in sustainable energy because I think that's the next big thing. Not that I think, but I know, and it's also better for the environment.
Wow, big words right there, and a big journey because I know before you go to study, you have to look at, maybe the length or the weight of what you're gonna study. And I see you've made a few changes, but how was that journey? Maybe more so, maybe a little bit of your undergrad, and then we'll come now to the gist of the story now while you're doing your master's here in Australia. But before that, how was that journey as a student, especially more so in a different country, different culture? Just a little bit. How was that for you?
I would say because I went to uni, like I was one of the people where I joined uni before I was 18. So I had to get a consent letter from my mom, from my brother who was already there that I was going to live with him and everything. So it was a bit of a cushion that I had my brother there. And also the university that I went to, Coventry University, is in a student city. So there's a lot of students everywhere, and it's just a student culture city. So it was easy to bond with other students, and there are a lot of international students at Coventry Uni. And it was just a good experience, to be honest, because you're coming from Kenya where you are a bit mothered by your parents, like you're in this cocoon and now you're out in the world in a different country. But it was nice because I had to mature, I had to be responsible and everything. But I also thank my parents for preparing me for that, and also having my brother there, as I mentioned before. So I had sort of a family, and I used to live with him, so it was it was just like I was at home, but it's still different because you're in a different country, and everyone is also going about their lives as well. So you have to just start making your life, like start creating friends and building a social circle whereabouts that if you're not at uni, at least you can hang out with people. And for the most part, undergraduate was fun, to be honest. Yeah.
Fun, fun, yes. But now coming to do sustainable energy and coming to Australia, just before now we
Mhm.
get to the journey, how's
Yeah.
sustainable? How's that course in itself? Because you said it's engineering and sustainable energy. How's that? Because not so many people actually, I don't think so many people know about sustainable energy. Maybe you can enlighten some people out there. How is that maybe for a course and a journey?
Well, for me, I think it was easier considering that I had already started my foundation. Then, as well, um, I think once you start, because our course was two parts, right? The oil and gas side and the renewable side of things. So I already had a basis. And that's where I realized that my strengths are going to be in the sustainable sector, where I can also become a consultant at the end. Because with oil and gas, to be honest, it's either you're going offshore and it's very male dominated. I didn't get scared about the fact that it was male dominated, because once I came back from UK, I actually worked for a company for during my internship in Kenya, and it was an oil field services company. And having those mentors who just encourage you to do whatever you'd like to do, and to push you forward in towards the direction that you specifically want to go into, actually helped me into going into sustainable energy. And for the main fact, um, I was looking at Africa. Even though I'm studying outside, my passion and my goal was coming back to Africa. And what does Africa has? A lot of natural resources, including the sun, wind. We have a lot of geothermal in Kenya. So that's where the sustainability and sustainable energy comes in. So just understanding what you have as a country and how you can be able to impact or help was my way forward into deciding I needed to go into sustainable energy.
And just maybe just this quick question, because in a field that is mainly, I don't know, but maybe you can correct me, dominated by men, because most such fields are dominated by men. How did you feel getting into that field? And more so when now you've gotten into your studies. How was that journey? Was it easy studying in Australia and actually studying the engineering course which you studied?
Yeah, so basically, it is definitely male dominated. One thing I got to tell myself is do not never look at your gender whenever you're going into the classrooms or wherever you're going into the workspace. That was the main priority, because once you start looking at those things, you now start realizing, oh my goodness, I'm the only female in this office, I'm the only lady in this class. And now you start feeling a bit like, should I even be here? Or am I in the correct career? Should I be doing something else? So I didn't look at it that way. I looked at it in terms of, I can be able to do this just as they are able to do this. And the main thing is, well, I think we'll get more into the career bit, but in the studies part of it, it's just doing it. So like, do not be what can I say? Do not be intimidated by the fact that you're the only girl in the classrooms. First of all, you might be the only girl, and then the next thing, you might be the only woman of color in that particular class or workspace. So it's either of the two or both of them. So at least in uni, we had a few ladies as well in there. But now coming into the workspace, that's something different. I think even in uni for my master's, I was the only woman of color, but there were other people from other nationalities there, which was fine. But now coming into the workspace, that's when you start realizing that you are the only person there, and
Wow.
you just have to do what you have to do.
I
Yeah.
think you're going ahead of me, but I like the motivation. But I just want to understand because if you look at how people move or change courses, because today we are talking about choices, course choice and progression.
Yeah.
At any time, at any given time, did you feel the pressure to quit? And was there real tangible peer pressure to change and start studying something else? Because if you look at majority of people, sometimes you get to such a course which maybe has a lot of challenges, and you can maybe talk about the challenges you faced. But did you feel a bit of a pressure to change and do another course?
I'd say when doing my master's, yes. During the first year, when you come in, you've made friends, all of you come in, you are working towards this particular course that you applied for when you're back in Kenya or wherever. And then you get there, and then after 1 year, everyone is like changing their courses, and you're like, why are you guys doing this? And then they tell you that it's either because of future prospect in terms of either permanent residency or stuff like that. Because to be honest, my when I was choosing that course, I wasn't choosing it because of staying permanently in Australia. I chose it because that's what I wanted to do. And it wasn't on the PR list, so that's the occupation list. It was not there, but I I had a passion for this, and I wanted to gain the experience from outside so that even if I'm coming back home, I can be able to use those skills that I've learned there. So there was a time when everyone was changing their courses. I was like, am I in the correct career space? Should I also be changing into something else that fits the occupation list or something of that sort? But there was that conviction that you just need to keep to your script and work it till the end, which I'm glad I did stay.
And what are some of the motivating factors maybe to help someone out there who's going through a challenge and you thinking the choice of the career or the course you chose is not the right one? What are some of the tips or how did you overcome such a challenge? Maybe you can help someone out there.
Yeah. So basically, I think when I think at the point where everyone was changing their career to fit into the occupation list, I had that pressure to go back to, remember, as I mentioned, I did oil, gas, and energy management. So I had the background of oil and gas. And looking at the occupation list, I used to see that petroleum engineering is in the list. So I was like, should I just change to petroleum engineering? But um, at the point, it wasn't going to make sense for me. All right. And as I knew and as I know myself, if I do not like doing something, I won't put all the effort into it or give it my all. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to stick to this. And I know the plans that I am a Christian, so I do believe in God and his plans and everything. And I used to just pray and be like, please God, help me in my career. I know you'll open ways. Even me, I do not know how this is going to work, but at the end of it all, I was just trusting that everything will work out. And it did, funnily enough. Because there are a lot of options there. Like you can, um, I was doing engineering, so you can just apply in the, I think also it's knowing the different ways that you can go about whatever course that you're doing. So it's not one door that you need to go into it, that you can stay in Aussie or anything. There's a lot of different ways and different pathways, and that's what I got to realize. And funny thing is, once I was clearing uni, clean energy was brought into the list, not knowing. But it was brought for only one state in Victoria. But I'll tell you another story going on into my work career, how that transpired.
So now we over the phase of studying, and we've toiled, and now it's paying off. But before we go to your career and where you are and how you got to get your first job, because I know that is very interesting, because some people actually say it's very hard to get a job into maybe engineering, IT, or the big corporate or good career choices. But someone would say that when you're actually currently in this country, it's easier to not go for the big courses, but go for the courses which are one, cheaper, and two, easier to get jobs. And
Yeah.
I want us to understand, is that a good career choice, or is it a short-term way at looking at things? And maybe according to how you've actually viewed things and where you are right now, do you think it's better to stick to the course you've studied no matter what? Or do you think it's better to change and go for a quick change, and then later on you're gonna pay the price? I don't know. You tell us. What do you think?
Personally, I think it's better for you to stick to your career path. Yes, because even myself, when I was studying my master's, I had a part-time job which was in retail. But having that job in the retail space didn't I think it gave me more motivation that I want to gain experience in my actual field. And I think I also started way too late because I became comfortable, because in the UK I used to work for in the retail space as well when I was studying. So when I was coming here, I was just like, okay, I'll just go into retail and do some work so that I can get money to pay my bills and everything. But instead, I should have been focusing on getting experience in my actual field, because I think with Australia, the most important thing is experience. So even if you can get those 20 hours in like an internship or just like a short work placement for you to get those skills in your career, it will definitely help you further on once you've graduated and you are now ready for the workspace, because they can see that you have work experience and you've been working towards, like, for myself, maybe in a consulting sustainability company, and it gives you a higher ranking. Like, you don't start with a basic salary for a graduate. Like, they can increase your salary a bit because you already have the experience. So I think definitely you can stick to your career path, and I advocate for people to stick to their career paths, because one thing is, this is something that you love doing, and you will have fulfillment from it. Personally, I did get fulfillment from sticking to my career and everything, but I think I started way too late in looking for like work placements or internships in the field, which I should have started way earlier because they were there. But I was just comfortable with earning cash and paying bills from the retail sector.
Amazing. So the other question someone might ask you, because the other factor that make people change their careers is getting a job. So after you finish
Right.
studies, was it easy to get a job?
Well, Pete, I do not think it was easy. I do not think anything is easy. First of all, I cleared uni August 2020. And as I mentioned, 2020, you definitely know it's pandemic here. and everywhere, like jobs were entrenching people, and even the grad schemes were being postponed to the next year before they realize like how they're going to solve everything and where the pandemic situation is going to end up, right? So I cleared, I think, July. I had already started applying for jobs, um, graduate jobs in January of 2020. But they hadn't even gotten back to me yet by the time I was clearing, because I mean, COVID happened. And then I was attending career fairs and all these meetups with these big organizations, but nothing was giving. So it definitely took me a while. Like before I got my first job, that was 6 months into graduating before I got an internship. The very first. So I'm graduating, instead of getting an actual full-time job, I'm going into an internship first. So it took me 6 months to get the internship, and to get the full-time job, it took me 1 year.
Wow. 1 year. And maybe if
Yes.
you can share maybe to someone out there, what was some of the challenges maybe you were facing into getting a job, apart from maybe experience, apart from what what were some of the challenges maybe so that you can help someone out there, and how did you actually go about getting a job after the 1 year mark or maybe after the 6 months?
Right. So basically, how I was doing it is I was always applying for the graduate schemes as they were coming out. So I started realizing that it was a continuous rejection, rejection, rejection. And then I went to the career fairs where you meet the actual employers and you speak to them, and you have the chance to ask questions as to what are you guys looking for, and as an international student, am I able to get a chance into the company, or even with my applications, like where do they go, you want to understand, like, why am I always getting rejected. And then that's when I realized, like, it was just because of my visa status, having the temporary resident, and they wanted something more permanent, and that was just the main hindrance. But not to say that there are no other companies which can or cannot accept you. Well, can accept you, they're there, but there are other companies which I think, according to their um, preferences, it's not for TR, because you have to answer that question. What type of visa do you have, and how many years do you have in your visa, and stuff like that. So I think that was the main hindrance. But once I started realizing that I'm getting a lot of rejections continuously, and also attending those career fairs, I decided to get a career coach. And the career coach actually explained it to me in terms of how international students need to, or how international students, like the challenges, because he knew all these challenges that international students face. And so he told me, you know what, Sharon, I think it's time for you to go out there and not focus on the big companies, because those are the ones that I was getting rejections from, and also start trying to look at these startup companies and see if you can get your foot into the company just a bit, because once you get the experience following that, everything else just starts falling into place. And that's when, to be honest, that's when, once I started, so the other option I had after getting all those rejections is I went onto LinkedIn and started messaging people, messaging managers from different companies, because I knew what career I wanted to go into, like the consulting side of sustainability. So I was just looking for consulting, and then managers who are consultants or something of that in a consulting energy company. And I just started sending messages through LinkedIn. My one thing was never go through HR because they will tell you, okay, wait for the application process and everything. So I went directly to the managers, because at least I need the manager to see my profile. So that's
Yeah.
those are the people I was shooting my shots on. So yeah, and that's how, to be honest, I've gotten all my jobs, if I can say. And to be and also a disclaimer, it's not that I got the jobs just like that. It's also what you are willing to offer and what you are
Hmm.
capable of doing.
Yeah.
So yes, and I'm so glad that the very first internship that I got was through LinkedIn and just reaching out. And to be honest, although I waited for like a month before they responded back to me, but it bore fruits at the end of the day.
I like
Yeah,
I like that. I like the way, even if you're not getting through, find another door.
we need to.
And at the end of the day, we are looking for a job in our career. So whatever
Mhm.
you do, however you do it, as long as you get your foot in there, that's all that counts. So we come into a good position now. After you got your job, and then after that, really what happened and where are you in now? We looking at the career. So now you chose to do engineering, and now it has actually paid off. So where is Sharon right now, and what can you say about the choices you made and where you are right now? And maybe if you're comfortable enough, you can share or as to where you are and what you're doing currently. Over to you, Sharon.
Right. So currently, working for a sustainable transport organization. And I think this is the right space where I want to be. With when it comes to sustainable energy, it's very broad, and you can gain experience from different fields and all that. And I feel like once I got into my first job, I got the understanding of what I want to do, what I do not want to do, and from there, it created a pathway or just a progress that or where I want to see myself in the next 5 or 10 years. And that's when I still continued looking for something else that I was more passionate about. And as I mentioned, I'm always looking for opportunities to go back into Africa because I feel like there's so much more that needs to be done in my career space back home. And yes, I think that's why I'm here today with the company that I'm with right now. So yeah.
So with the company, because you're talking about sustainable energy and
Mm.
engineering. So before we go to something else, I want you to mention, but with the company you're working with now, I want people to see the fruits of actually pushing through. So just mention where you at right now, because that's why we're doing a live and I mean
Hmm.
online interview, and
Yeah.
just mention that the company actually sent you there so that people can actually now start seeing the choices and the consequences, or the choices and rewards. So where are you right now as we speak? And is it that the company sent you to do the job where you are? Over to you, Sharon.
Right. So I'm in Kenya at the moment. And I think let me just backtrack a bit. So even before I came to Australia, like my main goal was to come back to Africa. And with Africa I mean Kenya. I'm not trying to um, change or anything, but I'm talking about Africa because I believe that we can help the whole continent as a whole, but specifically starting with Kenya. So I kept on saying it, but I think the start of this year, I said it more. I kept on saying that, you know what, I want to go back home. I want to go and develop back home. If you would ask anyone that knew me at that time, I was like, I think I am ready to move back and everything, and just be in the space of where I can be able to share my expertise in Kenya and help the transition into clean energy. And I think God was hearing me all this time because I feel like I was manifesting it every single time when I kept on saying it and saying it. And it is through a friend that I think they were having a conversation with their manager, and they're like, oh, I know of someone who is wanting to go back to Africa, and maybe we can connect you with that person and everything. And it's just through that that I got into this company that I'm with right now. So I'd say always share what you want with when you are in the career space, because you never know. Like everyone says, your social network is also your net worth at some point, because if I had not gotten these people or interacted with these people, I wouldn't have known about the opportunity that is there currently. And so once I spoke with the manager, I was like, yes, sign me up, take me, I'm going to go. And if you need anything, send me, please. So yes, and then I decided I'm going to come to Kenya for holiday, and as part of the holiday, I'm also working part time, so it's a balance.
Wow. Are you on holiday or are you at work? Anyway, enjoy. But I want you to maybe just in terms of career choice and the rewards. I want you to just talk to someone today and maybe girls out there, young girls who are trying to make a decision on what career to choose. Is it
Hmm.
good to go into such engineering big careers, because sometimes they are too big that we think it's not doable, and that's why we have you tonight. Just maybe talk to a few girls out there and just encourage them and tell them that it's doable, and that's why you're there. Over to you, Sharon.
Right. So I'd say one of the most important things is have a mentor who has already been in that space, in that engineering space that you are in right now or you want to pursue. Because what helped me was having a mentor who has been in a very male dominated industry, and for her to bring me into, like, if there was a conference, if there was meetings, these kind of things, she would definitely tag me along. She'll be like, Sharon, we are going to this place and this place, come along. So she was creating a seat for me at the table, and I'm really thankful for her for doing that. So it made me aware that I can be able to do this. I also have a voice to sit at the table with all these other people as well, and not to be intimidated by anything or anyone. And I think, to be honest, that pushed me. That's why I think when I was going into my masters, I was like, having only gents in our class doesn't bother me. Going into the workspace and it's only male, it doesn't bother me as well, as long as I'm gaining. And to be honest, one thing I told myself is we still need the men, because we need to learn from them. They've been in that space for a really long time. So anytime that I get the chance to sit down with any manager who's male or anything, I try and get to learn as much as I can from them, because I'm already at the table. So what notes am I taking in? What am I taking in order for me to progress and to also get to their particular position, and also just learning how they do their work and everything. So we need to learn from men as well as women. So either get a mentor who's going to help you, and also as you do this and you progress and you prosper, give back, give it back to someone else, give them a chance to also learn from you, because I know once people start climbing up the ladder, they get very inaccessible and they tend to forget where they were at some point. So it's one of those things that even me personally, that I told myself, like, once I make it to where I want to be, I'll definitely, my first priority is to be open and be a mentor to other young girls who are trying to get into the sector and find it, like, it's not challenging, it's intimidating, but to be honest, you can do it.
Yes, right there. You had it from a lady who's gotten in there and she's doing the job done. Other young ladies, young men, it's not a hard choice. It's not a hard career. It's just a matter of determination. Find yourself a mentor and just get yourself in there and make it done. So over to the other side now. I want to understand
Mhm.
something which is very personal, and it comes to do with mental health, because having to go through what you've gone through, choice of career, being in such a big industry or big field, how did you or how do you take care of your mental health? And are there tips that you can actually give other people out there who maybe might be in a situation similar to yours or going through the same, and they actually need to take care of their mental health?
Well, that's a very, very good question. Considering once you start like applying for these jobs and you're getting all these rejections, you start feeling like, am I not adequate enough? Am I not able enough to be able to be considered as a worthy candidate for this company? At that point, I mostly leaned on God, definitely. And I had a very great support system from back home, from family and friends. So we just used to discuss, and we are like, okay, so, and I also had this prayer group, and we'd just go into it, and I'm like, you know what, me, I'm just trying to look for these jobs, but they're not coming my way. What am I doing wrong or right? And having people that you know that are praying for you and are rooting for you is very it's key. And being in a foreign country, and more so at that point for me, it was during COVID time, so there was a lot of uncertainty, like how am I going to progress, or should I just start packing up my bags and go back home straight? But it's that thing that you just tell yourself that you need to keep on going. One rejection is one step closer for that success, or successful application, right? So I just kept on telling myself that, and I kept on telling myself, like, once this year is over, next year is going to be a better year. So that is from August, and I'm just telling myself, like, next year things are going to be different, everything is going to be okay, and you'll have a breakthrough. It's coming at some point. Even though I didn't know when, it was actually very challenging, because at the end of the day, first of all, my part-time job is gone, because there's everyone is closing down, there's nothing. I remember it reached a point, I was like, because you're just staying in the house day in day out, and being in Melbourne, I think it was the worst lockdown in the whole world, or in Australia, for those who know. It reached a point, I was like, you know what, I need to get out of this house, because I'm tired of seeing these four walls, and I just had to do something. So at that time, I think I started Uber delivery for the foods, because at least I could be out there, because we had this 5 kilometer radius that you can't go past. But if I was doing Uber delivery, I'd go past 5 kilometers and wherever I could go, and I'd just be like, you know what, I'm delivering food. You see, like, if the cops stop me, I'm like, I'm delivering food. And so I used to take that time to just go outside and be there and relax my mind, and just tell myself that it's going to happen at some point, even though I didn't know when, but it will happen. I just need to give it time, considering the circumstances that we are in at that we were in at that time. And yes, a lot of prayers, to be honest, a lot of prayers. And also just speaking with people when you feel like you are really at that point where, if you need to break down, to be honest, break down, lia yote ishe itoe, and then you start a new day. Like, I used to tell myself tomorrow is going to be a better day. And once tomorrow starts, sometimes, to be honest, nilikuwa tu bado, I just used to sit in the house, and I'm like, hey, I thought it was going to be a better day, but it's still not a better day, So just continue with your normal, like, get out there if you can get out there. Talk to friends, talk to family, have people pray for you, because I think at those times is when you feel like you can't even pray, like God is not even listening to you or anything. So have people who can intercede for you at that particular time, and weather the storm, to be honest. Just be patient, continue applying, hata kama those rejections are still coming in. Don't give up hope. Like, continue putting in those applications until that door opens. So you just need to keep pressing and pushing. Yeah.
And are you among the people who actually exercise or go for walks, go for gym, and is that good for your mental health as well? I'm just checking. Some people have maybe go for a ride, ride a bike, go to the gym, some exercise. Is that something which actually helped you with your mental health as well? And is it something that you would advocate for people to try and do?
I think I would definitely advocate for people to exercise and everything. Personally, I do not do that. I'm more of the people who I'll just drive somewhere, and that gives me that peace and calm and everything. I do not exercise. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But even when you also one thing once you start working, there's a lot of pressure when it comes to work. So I think one thing that I got into was dancing. So dancing helped me like um, get out of that headspace of being um, tired, fatigued, and thinking a lot of things that I shouldn't even be thinking of or worrying about. So getting into those small activities. And when people ask you to come and join them for dinner, just go. Like you have nothing to lose. If you are free, just go. Because is it rather you stay and you stay in that bubble of yours where you are just sulky and everything, and it's not like um, you are going to spend money or things that even do not entail money or anything. Just go spend time with people, hear their stories and everything. And if you're not okay even for you to talk at that point, just tell them, well, I don't feel like I need to discuss about me right now. Let's just have a good time and everything. And I think that actually helped. And living in Australia, I think even meeting up with people can sometimes be hard because everyone is either doing shift work. I'm 9 to 5, so I'm only available during the weekends, and it's hard to find that balance where everyone meets and all that. So just find a balance whereby if even one friend is free, go and do something with them, like even if it's going to walk in the park or exploring something new, or going, even if it's just going to the beach and coming back, just do it. Like do something that does not entail schoolwork or you thinking a lot. Yeah.
So if Sharon is not out there looking at sustainable energy or coming up with plans, coming up with so many things to do with energy, what is one thing that Sharon does? And after that, I want you to tell us, um, is it worth it? Is it engineering or studying what you studied worth it? But before that, what does Sharon do in her spare time? What is one of the hobby that Sharon has picked up along the way?
As I mentioned, I love dancing. Well, I'm trying to learn the Latin dances, so I think that is something that I've picked up along the way, and it gives me a lot of peace. And I love exploring. Like if I'm not in the house or doing the engineering stuff, I am out and about thinking about, or even if I'm in the house, I'm thinking about where am I going to go next, or where have I not explored. So I like just doing drives or taking a train, niende mahali, I go somewhere and just explore and see stuff. So that's what I have been doing. If you don't find me in the house, I'm out somewhere with people. I definitely like going out with people, and by out I mean exploring. So just on adventures and discovering new places or visiting places that I've not been to before. Yeah, that's where you'll find
Awesome.
me.
So before we wind up and you give your final remarks and maybe advice out there, I
Yeah.
want you to tell us, is it worth it? And then where do you see yourself in the next 5 years in terms of career progression? So is it worth it? Studying engineering, is it worth it? And where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Definitely, I would say it's worth it. It has been worth it for me. And just a disclaimer, this is my own journey, this is my own experience. Someone else's experience will definitely be different, but this is just how it has worked out for me so far. And I'd definitely be in the consulting space in terms of engineering, because I think once you've done engineering, and in my particular field, you are mostly a consultant. So you are advising people on how to be more energy efficient and everything. So it is definitely rewarding, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make an impact and help people. If it's not saving energy, at least bringing electricity to those remote areas and making sure that healthcare systems are running and everything. So for me it is very, very rewarding, because once I start to see these things happening and ensuring that these things in terms of sustainability are being are growing and everything in Kenya, that gives me so much joy. Because I remember when I was younger, and I never used to like when there was a blackout. As in, you'd think about when are the lights going to come back, you know. But at this point in time, I have the knowledge and the skills whereby I can be able to advise someone on what they can do or what they can put in their house, so that they can have continuous electricity. And as a whole, even like bringing just my skill set here and continuing to advance the uptake of or the enhancement of electricity and all this kind of stuff. So for me, it is definitely rewarding in whatever I am doing. Yeah.
Amazing. And now I just wanted as we wind up, maybe you can give us your final remarks, maybe advice to people out there trying to study, maybe going to engineering, going into IT, all the technical courses. What advice do you have for them tonight? And maybe your final remarks as we close tonight. Over to you, Sharon.
Right. So my final word will be go for it. You are your own limitation. So if you think you can't do it, you won't be able to do it. But if you have the can do attitude, you can be able to do anything. And I think people just tend to um, get scared of engineering or even the IT or the STEM courses and everything. But you can be able to do it. If you put your mind and heart to it, you're going to do it and you're going to be successful.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sharon, for taking the time out of your busy schedule and your holiday as well, just to take this time and to join us here at the Connect. We want to say thank you so much. We really appreciate you, and we wish you the best in your journey as you try and bring the change you want to see in Africa. And that's what we want to see, people coming, acquiring the skill and taking the skill back to Africa and bringing the change where it deserves. So for tonight, we want to say thank you from the Connect. Thank you so much for making time. And I hope if you get back to Australia, we can actually have a one-on-one and we can have a good interview just to get to know where you are and how was the project in Africa and what new and what new things are actually happening in Africa. But from us tonight, we just want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in from wherever you are. You've seen the story from Sharon. It's actually possible. It's just a matter of setting your mind to what you need to achieve. And once you focus, it doesn't matter what you're focused on. You focus on it. The only thing you'll actually achieve is the end result. So tonight we just say it's possible. Get in there, get it done, and enjoy the fruit. So from us tonight, from the Connect, we want to say thank you so much. If there's a story that you'd like us to bring, any content, and if you have a story out there you'd like us to share, please let us know and we'll actually get that story out there just to inform, inspire, and encourage people out there. So maybe Sharon, if you have something to say before I close, maybe you can say our viewers Kwaheri and we are going to close from there.
I think Pete, you're giving the wrong person. Nitatuma salamu to everyone.
Tuma salam, Sharon.
But nataka kutuma salamu. I would say thank you for having me. It's been great to be at the Connect to share my story. And if you want to reach out, definitely reach out. I think I'll put my email or LinkedIn in the description. Is that
Description.
what guys say?
Yeah, description.
Yes. Um, and if you want to reach out to me. And then if you just want some advice on how to go about anything that you've had me mention, just reach out and I'll be able to share with you. And yes, I'm hoping to see more stories of more young women and even men. We are not forgetting men getting into their careers and going forth with their careers and not just getting um, sidelined by all these other odd jobs and everything, because your career is going to be rewarding at the end of the day. Yeah. So definitely
Amazing.
continue with your career.
And see, Sharon is actually working from Kenya with a company from Australia. So guys, it's doable. So just make that decision. Push on, push on. The reward is just around the corner. From us tonight, from Sharon and everyone else, we're gonna leave Sharon's details down below on the description box. And if you wanna reach to her directly, please you can. Or if you wanna go through us, you can send us an email on our Gmail account, and we're gonna it's gonna reach to her. But from that, from us, Sharon, and everyone from the Connect. Thank you so much to the crew and everyone who's actually making this a success. We just want to say thank you. And to all our viewers, all our biggest supporters, thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed, please just subscribe so that we can actually get to do this more. It actually gives us that extra edge, because we know that we have to bring positive content, and this is positive content only. So if you're out there, if you haven't subscribed, it's free to subscribe. Just subscribe. It actually shows that you're supporting this channel and you're supporting the content. But from us tonight, we just want to say thank you so much. May you have a great evening or a great morning or whatever you are. Take care and may God bless. Until the next time, adios.
See ya.